Hello everybody, and today I'll be making the functional V2 rocket model. The V2 rocket was built during the war by German team of rocket scientists led by Werner von Braun. Around 20,000 people died during its production. She herself killed about 9,000 mostly civilians, mainly in London and Antwerp. I chose this model of the V2 rocket because of its elegant appearance, and also because it was the first ballistic missiles that opened the door to space. It was a weapon of terror without military significance. I came up with this. This is going to be projectile warhead. There will be a parachute under here. There will be thermal protection under the parachute. This is the rocket engine that powers the model and launches the parachute. The engine consists of nozzle, fuel mixed with an oxidizer and a charge for firing the parachute. We will start with the rocket body and stabilizers. We will make a template of the rocket body and I trace it on a block of polystyrene. And I will polish it. When we have the polystyrene perfectly sanded, I go to stick paper strips on it.
And that one is you, no other will do.
When we have finished the first layer, we'll make a second one just to be sure. And we will go over with varnish. Now I cut out the tip of the rocket so the detonator can fire the parachute. I cut out the remaining polystyrene.
Admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal line.
At the beginning of the warhead, stick such a strip of paper so that it can be inserted into the rocket hull. And I paint the inside of the rocket with wood varnish. I will stick 4 stabilizers on the sides of the rocket body. And after all that, we have the basic rocket without any details, paints and anything else. Now it's time to add details. Again, to be sure, I will paint the entire rocket with wood varnish. We will then insert the engine into this tube. This tube will hold the engine inside the rocket, and the 2 rings will hold the tube.
I want to start a great big flame down in your heart.
And I put a thick layer of glue and varnish on it.
Way down inside.
If you want, paint the inside with paint.
Darling,
Now it's time to paint it. There is a lot of camo on the V2, but I'm going to paint it the classic white and black.
And I know nobody else ain't gonna do.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
For worldly acclaim, I just wanna be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same,
A piece of black is passed on white. Never mind, I'll fix it.
Leave me, I don't want to set the world on fire.
Not bad.
If we have it painted, we still have to spray it with varnish.
A flame in your heart.
I completely forgot that the V2 has numbered stabilizers, so we'll stick the numbers on the sides of the stabilizers. And we spray it with varnish one more time. Now that we have the rocket ready, we go to the fun part, and that is how to make a rocket fuel. First, we'll make 3 test engines. I will take a metal rod on which I will roll the papers and apply a glue.
If that rabbit I can't see, keep it, not take the ring from me.
One engine should be approximately 3 to 4 mm wide. One normal engine is 9 cm wide and 2 cm thick. Well, when we have the engine ready, we can make the fuel. We will need potassium nitrate, powdered sugar, thread, small scale for weighing, lidar, cork, test rocket and epoxy. First, we test whether it works, so we mix a piece of sugar and nitrate together and test it. We will test it with the larger amount. We take the test 1 and put it in the cork.
To make it pretty, baby,
We make a wick. Take a piece of fuel from the test and put the water in it, and let the fuel dissolve, and then add thread. Wait until the water evaporates and you have a ready wick. For the first test, we will put 4 grams of sugar and 6 grams of nitrate, and mix it up. Insert the stick into the engine nozzle and use the funnel to pour fuel into the engine. Then take out the mallet and close it with the cork. Right now we are just going to test it to see if it works at all, so we are going to use a milk carton for it. I found out that the wick would not work at all. It always went out and never burned to the end. After a long struggle, we decided to pull out the cork and light it like that. And it was a good idea, it caught the fire so quickly that I didn't even have time to turn on the camera. After disassembling the engine, I found out that the cork works and did not burn. Yet. But let's ignore it for now. Let's do test 2. For test 2, grind 9 grams of nitrate twice.
your house and gone again.
And 3 grams of sugar. And mix it up. And do all this twice and mix it up. I will use epoxy to create the engine nozzle. I'm going to try the method that I haven't found anywhere on the internet yet. I mix the fuel with isopropyl. After a while of mixing, we got such a mash. Here I poured it into the engine and waited for it to dry. And I kept a piece for the wick. And we will close it with the cork. For this experiment we will use a regular stick. And it didn't want to ignite again. Again, again, and again.
Ha! Gay!
But suddenly it caught fire on the last wick. I think I know why I couldn't find isopropyl fuel anywhere on the internet. It burns extremely slowly and does not work. At least I am the first one on the internet who made isopropyl fuel. For the test 3 we will try the flight and the parachute shot. We will use the nozzle from the test 2. For test 3 we put 20 grams of nitrate. And we grind it twice. And sugar approximately 5 full 60. And mix it up. Make such a mixer out of a glass jar and attach it to the drill and mix it. And throw 3 wooden balls inside.
Just we need to cook.
Put the pan on the electric stove and put fuel in it. And mix it up.
Yeah, Mr. White! Yes, science!
And quickly put fuel in the engine. Don't forget to insert a mallet inside. For a new attempt at a wick, we put 6 whole 50 grams of nitrate and 3 whole 50 grams of sugar. And dissolve it in water. And throw a string there. We will now separate the engine from the detonator with 4 cardboard rings. I draw a hole there. I will make the wick that will detonate the detonator. I need 0 to 60 grams of sugar per wick and the same amount of nitrate. And I wrap it in a napkin. And we wind the wick that we cooked. And put it in the engine. And for the detonator we will make the same fuel as in test 2. Expect that we don't put isopropyl there. We will talk about how to make parachute and how to protect it from heat later. And how to balance the rocket too. And we will use an ordinary mallet for the starting ramp. When everything is ready, it's time to launch it. But again, as always, it doesn't work. The wick is too weak and it can't light it. After a long decision, we decided to pour much heads into the engine. And it worked. But not as completely as I imagined. It burned for about 9 minutes and dissolved the rocket. But at least the parachute fired at the end. The fuel burned so extremely slowly that it started to generate enormous heat inside the rocket, which melted the entire rocket. We will make another test. We will make the nozzle from wood. For the next test, we will use 40 grams of nitrate, and for a change we will use granulated sugar, and 30 grams of it. Grind both ingredients twice in succession and mix them.
I've waited so long for you.
Put the finished fuel into the engine and charge it with the hammer.
Please come.
And seal it with 3 pieces of cardboard. And drill the nozzle into the engine. And I'll make detonator just like the last time. And I'll use the wick from the napkin because it's the best. This test was already successful. I just built the wrong copper wire ramp. I will build the metal rod. We will use the exact same engine for the next test. This test was finally successful, only the parachute did not fire. You can see it that much on the video, but the rocket flew up into the clouds and fell into the disgusting swamp where I lost it. So I don't know why the parachute didn't fire. So I have to do the same test again and the engine too. The stabilizers burned, so I will have to make it differently. Otherwise, the parachute and the rocket are fine. We can use them again. Therefore, the parachute did not fire because the detonator burns too slowly. So now I drill a hole in the middle of the detonator so that it burns sooner. My engine burned out. I made it wrong. So once again. I probably made the hole in the detonator too small, so I'll make it bigger. Parachute fired, but only after the impact, when I went to it, and I forgot to film it. I put too much fuel in there and I didn't burn. So for the next test I will put less fuel and I hope it will work. I think it's time for the final rocket. To begin with, we wind hard paper around the rod and then we wind normal paper. And then coat the entire engine with glue inside and out. The nozzle for the engine will be made of wood. And to be sure, we spray it with water. For fuel, give 27 grams of nitrate and 15 grams of granulated sugar, and grind sugar and nitrate twice in a row. Instead of wooden balls in the mixer, put glass ones in the mixer. The engine is too long, I have to shorten it, and gradually charge the engine with fuel using a hammer.
If I could fly like birds.
We separate the fuel from the detonator with plywood, and we draw a hole in the middle. I also charge the fuel into the detonator with a hammer, and I drill the detonator only halfway, and we drill the engine up to the plywood. Cover the detonator with paper. We will make a parachute from thermal foil from old car medicine cabinet, because it's cool. Take the foil and fold it, and draw a half circle using some stick. And cut a hole in the middle. Glue the laces and you are done. And I glue the ramp mounts to the rocket. I will stick the parachute inside the rocket. I will tie one more string to the parachute that will hold the warhead. We put a cotton inside the rocket that will protect the parachute from heat, and we put the parachute in such a paper foil. We glue the engine to the rocket. Rocket balancing consists of two parts. The shadow center of gravity must lie behind the center of mass. I have to put weight in the warhead, because it's unbalanced. And we close the warhead. There is a minor problem. The entire rocket weighs 150 grams, which is a lot. Well, we'll see if it works out. Exactly what I thought happened. The rocket was too heavy and poorly balanced, and I messed it up a bit. The temperature inside the rocket was so high that it dissolved the paint. So, for the final flight, we will put such a tube inside the rocket that will protect the rocket from heat.
Beyond a doubt.
And I will also glue the auxiliary legs to the stabilizers. And I have to reduce the weight of the rocket and rebalance it. When everything is ready, we can start it. The production of this most complex project to date took us 5 months. I know the final flight was not much, except for the impact of the rocket, and I found out why it didn't fly like that. Do you see that black dot? That's the nozzle I forgot to stick.
You serious?
But that's enough for me. It flew to height about 50 meters. I hope you enjoyed the video. I tried to make it funny and in English, because otherwise the video will be extremely boring. I hope you liked the video. Give it like, subscribe and comment, and we'll see you in the another video.